which just happened a couple of months ago. If you look at terrorism-related activities in the Sahel and the coup d'etats in many of the African countries, it is something the organization have not been able to live up to.
All that and more on Citi Prime News, which is live on all affiliates across the 16 regions of the country. In the Western region, this is Ajunpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach FM 105.5 in Takrade. Bono region, we are live on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyain. Ashanti region, Ajunpa 99.9 FM in Nkarie. Volta region, we are live on Heritage FM 107.3 in Hohoi and Freedom FM 88.1 in Sogakope. Northern region, we are live on Radio Gaki 88.3 in Saboba. Upper East, we are live on Quality FM 88.7 in Garu. And Northeast region, we are live on Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalerigo.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for choosing us. Let's begin the bulletin on the labor front, where the industrial action declared by the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, JUSAC, has brought justice delivery to a halt as clients of the court are turned away. The law court complex housing the High Court in Accra, which is usually busy, was virtually empty when Citi News visited. JUSAC declared an indefinite strike yesterday over non-approval of their new and improved salary structure for the period between January 2023 and December 2024. Here are some disappointed clients of the court speaking to Citi News.
There is a case today on the 25th, and I came and the place is empty, no activity. I went up and I learned that the judiciary, the staff, they are on strike. So disappointed. So we are waiting. We are hoping that this thing will end soon.
Where are you coming from?
Where I'm coming from. Oh, I'm in Accra here, Dansoman. Yeah.
But how does that affect you, the fact that you've come all the way?
Definitely you spend money. I have to send money to my lawyer. Okay. Anytime you come and you spend money, yes, you yourself, your time and everything, and you have to pay your lawyer today for it's not the fault of the lawyer, it's not the fault of anybody, so you have to pay him for today service. They should try and resolve the issue quickly. Just try and resolve it quickly. I don't know, and the judiciary too, they should also come halfway and meet the government. I think that will solve this problem. There are a lot of cases are about 20 years here. Why do we do that? You know, if the cases are fast, we won't be coming here like this. Cases over 20 years. My case is up 21 years. What kind of lies is this? Yes.
Your case is 21 years?
21 years, I'm telling you.
Why has it been dragging for 21 years?
Well, then you know, the judiciary.
I'm here this morning to stamp my indenture. But I learned they are on strike, so there's nobody there.
You didn't know that they declared strike?
No, I didn't hear. I didn't hear.
Where are you coming from?
Abrikuma.
So now you have to go back?
Yes, I'm going back.
How do you feel? I mean,
I feel embarrassed. Because I don't know when they will come back to. I was asking when they will come back to. Nobody knows when they will come back. So as it is, you know, I don't know when I will come back again. So I have to go and wait till I heard of people when they have come back, then I come back again.
Those were some disappointed clients of the court here in Accra. Let's go live to the High Court and monitor the situation because my colleague Charles Owusukumi is on the ground for us. Good afternoon to you, Charles. If you can hear me, many thanks for joining us. Paint a picture of how the impact of the JUSAC strike is having on persons who patronize the courts.
Well, how persons who come seeking for legal service at courts have been turned away this morning because, like you rightly said, the Judicial Service Staff Association, they declared a strike yesterday, and the strike is over the approval of a salary structure, which they say should have been approved by the presidency in January. They say that the salary structure is approved every 2 years. So the last time this was done was in 2021. And that was from January 2021 to December 2022. And so the proposal that was sent to the president in October last year. So they've been expecting that from January of this year, that salary structure would have been approved, but that has not been the case, and so they declared a strike yesterday. We're currently at the circuit court. It's empty. It's the people who have come here seeking for justice, and I should say they've been turned away because all the courtrooms are locked here. The situation is not any different at the court complex where the High Court is. We've had the opportunity to speak to a few of these clients of the court, and it's quite frustrating for them because for some of them, they've had to spend money to pay their lawyers, to transport themselves to the place because they didn't know about the strike. This strike was declared late afternoon yesterday. So they didn't know, so they had to incur some financial costs. I just saw here at the circuit court a police prosecutor who had brought 2 suspects in handcuffs. He himself also didn't know that there was a strike, so he had come to prosecute his case, and the courts are locked, so he's had to go away with these suspects. Now, the suspects, I had a brief engagement with them. They were actually worried, and they were asking me when the court will be back in session because they want their case dealt with as quickly as possible so that they can know their fate. What this means is that their case will drag on a lot longer. They've been in police custody for the past 6 months. That's what they tell me. And they want their case dealt with as quickly as possible. So that's the situation here at the court. It's virtually empty here. You just find lots of police personnel here who have been brought here. And I just had a discussion with members of JUSAC, and they say they do not know why there's a police presence because this is an internal matter and no one is fostering any trouble here. No one is fomenting any trouble here, so they don't see the need for the police. There was supposed to be a meeting between JUSAC and the Judicial Council to sort of trash out the issues, but JUSAC says that they are not going into that meeting because earlier they had reports that a Supreme Court sitting was ongoing, and they've been able to confirm that, yes, that sitting happened. And this is because some of their members, they say, have been intimidated into going to work for the Supreme Court. And they take exception to that, and so they are not going into this meeting. All they want now is for this salary structure that they've been waiting for to be approved. Otherwise, they say they are not coming back to work.
Been any instruction for any of our member to work in as far as our grievances remain unresolved. So when we came here and the media picked the information that the Supreme Court was sitting, that information got to us. I've been there personally to confirm that the sitting actually took place and our members were forced against their will to sit or to join the judges to have that sitting take place today, and we've taken serious notice of it.
So what is being done now about it?
Yes, we're supposed to hold a meeting with the acting Chief Justice and management to look at what can be done so that government can meet our demands for work to progress steadily. But because of the development that we have had and some other issues bordering on the security presence, strange security presence at the court premises, as well as our security men being asked to do certain things that we feel are not safe, even in the interest of the service.
When you say they've been asked to do things that are not safe, what do you mean?
Oh, they were asked to open some of the course when we told them that they should keep the course under lock. If they open and the registrar is not there and something happens, the security will have to be held responsible for that. He can't open 20 courses and he'll be the only one to be running around looking after all of them. Anything can happen during that period. We're asking them that they should be present at least to take care of the security installations there so that nothing happens to it. They were supposed to have red bands on the gates, and we've told that they've also been asked to remove those banners, and we're not happy about it. So the meeting that would have happened today, we've not been able to join the meeting because the signal from our members is that we should take a look at those preliminary issues, have them resolved before we can engage government.
So you had the General Secretary of JUSAG, Abdullahi Yakubu. Now, Charles, the strike has been in force for the past 5 hours. Have JUSAG heard anything from government or the Judicial Council so far?
Well, from government quarters, they've told me that no, they've not heard anything from the presidency. The only thing that was scheduled was that meeting with the Judicial Council and the acting Chief Justice. But that meeting, they say they are not going to be part of because the members have told them to trash out the issues about the security and the police presence and the intimidation that is alleged has been going on since yesterday. So until all these issues are resolved, they're not going into that meeting. But they've not heard anything from the presidency, which is actually the mandated to approve the salary structure that they've been seeking.
Very well, most grateful for your time. That was my colleague Charles Owusu reporting from the Higher Court here in Accra. Let's now move to the Ashanti region because in that region, some 5 accused persons standing trial in connection with the murder case who are expecting a ruling today have been sent back to police cells. My colleague in that region, Hafiz Tijani, is on the line. Hafiz, good afternoon to you. Many thanks for joining us. Tell us more. What did the lawyer for these accused persons say when they went to the court and they were told the court was not in session?
Well, he was visibly worried. He looked so disappointed and said that this was a day he was anticipating that his client could be left off the hook and go back to take care of their parents. He mentioned that one of the or two of the clients are caretakers, and one has a baby who is 9 months old, and she has to go back to take care of the child. But because of this case, she's been put in custody, and they were supposed to get a ruling today, and that did not happen because of the strike today. So he looked so disappointed and didn't know what to do. So he had to talk to the police. So the police drove the suspect or the accused person back to the cell.
I have clients that you saw on that pickup. They were brought from Fomina. And so we are here to get a ruling this morning. But when I wanted to enter the premises from behind, the gates were locked and red banners were placed there. I tried from the front area here, the same. So I went to the regional police command to turn. I turned and I realized that my clients are on a pickup. One of them needed a place of convenience and was on the car and didn't know what to do. Now we are waiting to know what the judicial service staff will be saying. All the court premises are closed. I was at Asokwa the same. Nowhere was open.
What did you say the state of your case was?
It's a serious case. Some people, I would say, are wrongly accused of murder. And today is the ruling. And we are here and the premises are not open. They've been in cells for more than 1 month. And they're going back to cells because they cannot open the premises for the court to sit. Even though we know that they are innocent. The ruling is what can free them for them to go home to their children.
You look disappointed.
So disappointed. Lawyers are not supposed to put into their lives some emotions, but it's heart-rending to have your client going back to prison when probably the ruling would have favored your client this morning. These are parents of children, some as young as 9 months old, left with other relatives, and they are expecting their possible freedom this morning, but they are going back to cells because the judicial staff are not working. They may have good case, so the leadership should sit down with them so that this matter is resolved.
So you had a lawyer speaking about the impact of the strike by JUSAG. His name is William Ewuku Ahiadome. Now, the situation was not different when Citi News visited some court premises within the Kumasi metropolis and the Ashanti region. The entrances of the court have been locked with red bands tied around them. Hafiz, you have been speaking to some persons who had come to the court to have their issues resolved. What have they been telling you?
So from the Kumasi Court Complex, I moved to the Asqa Court and I moved to the KMA Court, and the situation was the same. Lots of people who had come there who did not have the opportunity to get this announcement beforehand came there from far and near. Others came from far as the Obuasi areas and to access the court, but they were left disappointed. So I spoke to some of them who were not so happy about the development.
I'm very upset because since Monday I had a case and the judge wasn't available that day, and now today I'm told that there's a strike. And it's sad because these are, urgent cases. And I said to the gentleman that they should at least have the courtesy to telephone or notify lawyers of the cases because they do have access to those files. That way our lawyer can tell us, the clients. So by coming today, I lost time, money, sleep, energy, the whole thing. And I don't understand why it is this way in this day and age. We're in the 21st century, and yet it's like we're backwards in our doings. And so the government should do something about it because it can't go on.
One of our sister passed away. We need the court order before we send it to the Kopanoche, before they can release the body. But as of now, we are yet to go back and find out.
When you came, what did they tell you?
They say they're on strike. Even yesterday, I saw it on television. So they're on strike. So you have to go back and see the next line of action.
What will you do now?
That's what I've told you.
So those were some persons expressing their frustration to Citi News about the strike by JUSAG. Hafiz, what options are left for them?
Well, they will just have to go back to their various destinations and appeal to the government, and they hope that the government can reach a consensus with the striking workers so they can come back and serve them.
Many thanks for your time. Hafiz Tijani is our colleague in the Ashanti region. Let's now take our attention to the Western region, where frustrated lawyers and their clients were this morning turned away at the main entrance of the Secondary High Court. Now, they are thus appealing to government to urgently address the demands of JUSAG. Citi News' Western regional correspondent Akwesi Eje Enim has the details in the following report.
General High Court, where most of the cases that has to be sat on in the region actually take place here. We have the High Court, the Appeals Court, and other courts all come here. But unfortunately, because of the JUSAG's strike today, the entrance has actually been blocked to even motorists who are coming here. We've met some stranded persons who actually have a case here, hoping that they were going to be sat on. And because of the JUSAG strike, they are not even allowed to enter. And we've been taking some of their sentiment about the situation.
I'm here for my wife and her brother's case. So we came here. We were saying there's no court today. So we came because of the case. And when we came, they said the court is not working today. It's very bad. It's very bad. Imagine, you came from all the way from Anaji, and you come to this place and they will tell you that the court, digital service is not working. It's very bad. We have to go back and see our lawyer and see the next date that we will come. So it's very bad. It's very bad.
Really, it's a really an unfortunate day or event, and it's quite much inconvenience to our client. For instance, this morning, my client traveled all the way from Sunyani to come and appear in court for his case. It's a matrimonial case, and as it is, he has to drive back to Sunyani. And besides that, I have a judgment also to be given in one other case. It's not going to come on. And these are some of the inconveniences that we are facing now. There is a lot that this situation is causing. I mean, it's causing. Yesterday, for instance, as you said, I had an application for bail in a murder trial. And because the jurors didn't come, they were on strike and all, everything became, bad, too bad. So the application couldn't come up. Weren't able to, and my client is still on remand. And we don't know even when they are going to resume. And this is, a sad situation. I think the government must come in quickly and then resolve whatever grievances the judicial service have in order to get things back on track.
So I've just come across the Western Regional JUSAC chairman who has actually come to the court premises just to be sure the strike is actually being adhered to. And I just want to take his sentiment on how far they intend going with this very strike.
We are ready to serve them. So the powers that be, if they could also do something, you understand, to add to our voices, to press home our demand, you understand, for the government or the president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, our new condition of service is before him. If you just approve and let us get paid, then we'll return to office. You understand? We are not happy. We are not in office today to serve the public, but it has become necessary. You understand? We are ready to serve them. So those who are in charge, if they should also do the needful, we should also play our parts.
So I am currently inside the High Court premises here in Ajemra in Sekondi, where almost all the offices over here have their doors locked up. And what is so symbolic over here is the fact that we have these red banners which have been hung beside the locked doors we have here. And look around shows that nothing actually is happening here. Not even a single soul can actually be seen here on the premises of this very court. And that tells you that the JUSAC is very much serious about this strike that they've actually declared. For Citi News, I'm Akwese Jenim, Sekondi.
And here in Accra, my name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, here with Kweku Ejiama and still to come. Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte orders the suspension of work on a new oil filling station at Ashalibuche in Accra, which caused residents to embark on a protest. We have details of that, plus other stories coming up shortly. Please don't go away.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
The international football season has just reached fever pitch, and GoTV will be right there for it all. So get settled into your living room stadium, because you are coming with us to the epic finales of the Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, Europa League, FA Cup, and more. All you have to do is get and stay connected to GoTV, where all the big games keep coming.
Points of world-class difference.
GoTV, love it.
No one stops that.
Listen up, people. There's good news for Airtel Tigo customers who haven't started and those who are yet to complete their SIM re-registration. Yes, good news. Complete your SIM re-registration and get free 5GB data falla to browse, chat, Zoom, TikTok, Snap, and do more on Airtel Tigo to change your world. If your SIM has been blocked, don't worry. You can have your number back and also get a whopping 5GB data as soon as you register with your Ghana card. Simply visit the nearest Airtel Tigo shop or agent today. Complete your SIM registration now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, the Chamber for Bulk Oil Distributors is demanding a probe into the activities of the bulk oil storage and transport company BOST for alleged unethical activities under the Gold for Oil policy. The policy, implemented by government as a stopgap measure to address the hikes in fuel prices, requires BOST to receive oil that is purchased with gold, which is sold to the distributing companies for onward sale to the oil marketing companies. But 5 months into its implementation, the BDC say BOST bypasses them and sell directly to the marketing companies. In an interview with Citi News, Chief Executive of the Chamber for Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Kwekofori, called on the National Petroleum Authority to investigate the issues.
With all that we know, that Nicodemously trading through some OMCs to supply to the market, but that in itself, yes, may not necessarily be an ethical way of conducting business, but in terms of competition on the market and the prices, is because maybe at the BDC level, the BDCs that are landing products are being much more competitive than them. That is why, as a result of desperation and frustration, they've decided to find a way of selling directly to the OMCs. And this is something that we expect the regulator to step up and investigate and call for measures to ensure that if we are the one paying for all this and there is existing structure that exists within the downstream, we just expect people to do the needful and follow the right protocols to conduct the needed business.
The Chamber also says its members are incurring demurrage debt running into millions of cedis due to preferential treatment given to BOST to clear the products under Gold for Oil before its members.
The issue about demurrages is hurting. That some of our members in the last 2 or so months are averaging demurrages over $1 million on their product. What this affects is careful planning, and which I think the regulator and the ministry really think that they want to clamp down on that coming into the next quarter. So we want that discipline at the port. If BOSS is planning to bring this in, let's see that they've locked in those products, and we know that everybody, when you come in, when you have a laycan and you are unable to fulfill, I don't mind if there are even sanctions against my members who are unable to fulfill laycans that have been given to them. But by so doing, we can have some form of sanity at the port to ensure that. But we also don't want a situation when people are unable to honor those laycans that have been given to them, especially the government entities, and then they go ahead, and when they come at a later time, people who have planned and a way to go in get skipped and then give those preferential treatment.
Dr. Patrick Kwekofori, in an interview with Citi News, further debunked claims that the reduction in fuel prices at the pumps can be attributed to the Gold for Oil policy. According to him, the Gold for Oil policy has not in any way contributed to the reduction in prices at the pumps.
At the initial technical brief, we warned that people shouldn't go out there and create a false impression that Gold for Oil is going to reduce prices. Ghana, as a country, does not necessarily determine how much it goes out to the market and then give for the prices of these. And the volume of product that even come to West Africa, we don't consume as much as even our neighbors, Nigeria and other things. So we can't necessarily determine how much we choose to buy those products. Besides that point, premiums, when you do the scenarios that I'm going to show you, the premium does not necessarily have a significant impact, or what the analysts would normally say, that a significant predictor of the pump price, but rather the FX is a major significant predictor of what the pump prices are and that of the international prices.
And the Gold for Oil has nothing to do with these indicators?
Gold for Oil has nothing to do with those indicators.
Dr. Patrick Kwekofori is the Chief Executive of the Chamber for Bulk Oil Distribution Companies in that interview with my colleague Hansen Ajuman.
Now, residents of Ashaliboche at St. Peter's Mission School Down in the Adenta municipality are vehemently opposing the establishment of a fuel station in their community. They have raised serious concerns about the potential hazards such as a fuel station may pose to the residents. Citi News' reporter Kennedy Chumesi visited the area and has filed this report, read to you by Ni Latilate.
The residents of Ashaliboche at St. Peter's Mission School Down have joined forces to oppose the construction of a fuel station in their community. Their main concern revolves around the fuel station's location, which is in a densely populated area. They firmly believe that selecting such a site for the fuel station is highly imprudent due to the potential risks associated with such a project.
Looking at the land size, it's not fixed.
for purpose for them to put the filling station over here. And also, looking at where it's being sited is very wrong, because it's sited in the midst of houses. And when something happened today, our mothers, our fathers, we have to carry them and run with them. Example that I will give is, look at what happened at Atomic. Everybody was running away. It was like an Iraq war that has happened. Everybody was running away. Even children were running. People cannot find their children. So are we waiting for we to have a second disaster again? What is happening? Since 2016, we have been going back and front. And I think it's not helping all of us. I'm pleading with them. Because women's life matters. We will put leaders to protect us and to value our life. We don't put leaders in place so that they will come and kill we the citizens.
My house shares a wall with a yet-to-be-constructed fuel station. Also, my kitchen is right behind the wide bunker for the installation of the fuel dump. I won't agree for a fuel station to be sited here. I will live in fear due to a possible explosion. The owner can use the land for a different business, but not a fuel station.
And they're fine. Self-filling station there, out. But we are the ambassador. Patron or the Bayano. Namempe. Except baby fear. Patron, I must a man, patron, and I must a man pet. Sort of baba.
We don't want the fuel station here. Properties close to the station have been lost following explosions. I built my property without the help of anyone, so I won't stay aloof for the fuel station to be set up here.
No, because me couldn't know your mammy way, Debbie. Mancasa, Piatisu Poku. And the Miss Pets, a Caniana or Bayano. I insured a year, no patron or the Babano, man pet.
Guel PLC, the initiator of the fuel station project, began construction plans in 2016. However, the project was halted because Guel failed to obtain the necessary permits from authorities such as the National Petroleum Authority and the Environmental Protection Agency. After meeting these requirements, the NPA directed the suspension of further construction in 2020 following a petition to the authority. According to the Adentan Municipal Assembly, Guel has now obtained all the required documents from the National Petroleum Authority and the Environmental Protection Agency to proceed with setting up of the station, as it has been designated a commercial hub. In an interaction with City News, the Public Relations Officer of GOIL, Robert Tre, asserted that the company cannot be faulted since it has successfully acquired all the required permits to site the fuel station.
As far as GOIL is concerned, as a law-abiding company, the station in question has been able to acquire all the necessary regulatory and building permits for us to be able to go on with construction. And we have been able to acquire the building permit from the Adentan Municipal Assembly. We also have the construction permit issued to us regarding the same station. And then we have also secured a permit for the construction of the station from the National Petroleum Authority. And as well, we have also permit from the Environmental Protection Agency. So we have gone through methodically and with very important care, making sure that we satisfy all the regulatory requirements to be able to site the station there. For us, we have not gone contrary to any regulations as specified before the construction of stations.
The residents' objections are primarily rooted in their concern for the safety and well-being of their community. They highlight the tragic gas explosion at Medina Atomic Junction and the devastating incident that occurred at a Guel filling station on June 2015 at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, which claimed the lives of over 100 persons. They further argue that the influx of vehicular traffic generated by the fuel station would exacerbate congestion in an already busy area.
Yeah, 3 days. So mu ye adwuma wa ha na ye ka kire mu say
Not long ago, the contractors were cited on site to continue the construction of the fuel station, but we resisted even though they told us that they have been given a permit to set up a fuel station. The fuel dump is sited at the wrong location and it can't be used as a fuel station.
100 by 110. What about to me the filling station? Ade, Como plot pone a car can say filling station. Como plot BBO can filling station.
Look at the land expected to be used as a fuel station. Take into consideration the tracks expected to use the stretch. This is where we lay our heads after working throughout the day at our workplaces.
Nya ho nu pa anu aye ni nya nu ne le wala ka fe ba anu na ba wo ke wo bi ke wo na bi na je wo ne ke haw mo na mi shi na ke haw mo na le wo nye wo kwanya fai ye nshi ba mi nya wa wo ko ni papa ne e cha ke dwen mo ne ke ni ne ka ba bi ne don shi wo ke kwa ke wo.
We don't want this fuel station here. We do not want the tragic incident that happened at Atomic Junction and the Kwame Nkrumah Circle to happen here.
No na ko ye hey baba wo ne ke ba ba wo hina na le no la no kwale wo kle.
Days ago, we saw him coming to start the whole project again, and it became a whole confusion again. But I think he just has to make up his mind. It's not something the community is going to agree. That's the community, but let's look at the brighter side of it. You can't site a fueling station in a residential community. It won't work. We live here with our parents. We've lived there throughout our lives. And the havoc that comes with citing this fueling station, they'll tell you, oh yes, we are going to take precautions and everything, but that's not true. The community doesn't want it, so why is he still forcing it? He just has to make up his mind. The community is not interested, so he should just stop.
During a visit to the area, City News observed that the fuel station's proposed location shares close boundaries with various establishments, including shops, homes, and schools like the St. Peter's Mission School at Adentan. The underground storage tank has already been dug. The Adentan Municipal Assembly has informed City News that a MUSEC meeting was held on Monday, May 22, 2023, to discuss the matter for further actions to be taken.
So you heard their report filed by City News' Kennedy Chumesi and read to you by Ni Latte.
Well, the residents demonstrated again today, and they are demanding, or they were registering their displeasure against the siting of the fuel station, saying it's dangerous due to the proximity to their homes. Some of them have been speaking to City News.
She's supposed to be a resident. She's supposed to be a resident. So we don't need any filling station. We don't need any filling station here. That was 7 years ago, 2016. So this place was a resident. So secondly, even the land is not big enough. Secondly, our road is so small. Closer to the place, and our children have been passing here to and fro to school. This is the school here. It's around 4:30 when they close. Come and see traffic here. And meanwhile, where will this? How do we call it? The tanker pass to discharge.
That was a resident of Ashaliboche here in Accra. Now, during a visit to the community, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte ordered the suspension of work on the project until due diligence is done.
The attention of the Regional Security Council has been drawn to this very project, hence our visit to this place today. We do not in any way, shape or form, and will not stop any citizen, investor in this country from investing by way of also creating jobs. In the same vein, we have to be very careful that the welfare, security, and well-being of the community is also taken into consideration. Taking cognizance of what happened at Atomic Junction or Atomic Roundabout, which still is fresh in the minds of some people and all of us, and that of June 3rd disaster at Circle. This clearly cannot hold. And I want to thank you very much for holding an emergency meeting to, as it were, you use the word put on hold. I want to, on behalf of RECSEC, say that going forward, all works here must be suspended until further notice.
Well, the Greater Accra Regional Security Council and the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council are currently locked up in a meeting with the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs over the ban on drumming and noise making. This comes after 5 churches were summoned by the Ga Traditional Council on Sunday for violating the ban with the use of musical instruments during church service. The 1-month ban forms part of activities marking the annual Homo celebrations by the Ga people. Here is the chairman of the Greater Accra Regional Security Council, Henry Kote, again.
May I put on record that we have not come to argue, debate, or to change the traditions, the cultures, and the values of the Ga Traditional Council and Gadangbe Traditional Councils. Rather, we have come to pay a courtesy call on the Regional House of Chiefs, and for us, on the Regional House of Chiefs, you will note that in so many years, you've not had this august visitors. Today, by the grace of God, Ghana, Greater Accra is witnessing something very unique. The clergy, represented by all the faith-based groups, are here so we can work together, live together in a very peaceful environment. Again, I have their word to say that I want to repeat this side, that the clergy are not enemies of the traditions, culture, and value of the Gadangbe community.
You had the Greater Accra Regional Minister and Chairman of RedSec, Henry Kote. You are still listening to the Citi Prime News. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, here with Kweku Adriama, and still to come, security analyst Emmanuel Coutin calls on African leaders to prioritize the security of their citizens. As the continent celebrates African Union Day today, we have details coming up shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
The news cycle can sometimes be rather daunting. With an abundance of media houses publishing daily, where does one even begin? What the papers are saying is a one-stop shopping experience to knowing and understanding the most important news items that made the headlines. Catch the next episode of What the Papers Are Saying at 9 p.m. each Thursday, only on Citi TV.
1xBet jackpot is here with weekly massive prizes up for grabs. All you have to do is place your bets on any sports game and stand a chance to win. Simply register at 1xbet.com.gh. Use promo code JackpotGhana and place your bets. 1xBet is your key to great victories. Feel like a winner. 1xBet.
Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back. Now, some assembly members of the Tema West Municipal Assembly are seeking to impeach their MCE, Anna Adukwe Ado. The assembly members are accusing the MCE of disregarding assembly structures, misusing of funds, and strained relationship with staff of the assembly. Speaking to Citi News, Assembly Member for Lashibi Electoral Area, Shaibu Abdullahi Kabori, said measures have been triggered to pass a vote of no confidence on the MCE.
We, the assembly members, think she doesn't go according to the assembly structures. You know, assembly deal with structures, and therefore, as an MCE, you need to go per the act, per the structures of the assembly. And therefore, when you go against the structures of the assembly, then assembly cannot work. The assembly, Tema West Assembly, is currently on a standstill. Workers are not happy, and they are calling upon as the assembly members, the board of directors of the assembly. We are the one who confirmed her to be the MC, and we have the powers to put her to order as well. So a lot call us backdoor because they are technocrats, they are civil servants, and they call upon us to act. Assembly members, we have met, we are in our PM's office waiting for him to make himself available for us to present our signed documents for the vote of no confidence process to begin as the assembly structure outline.
Shaibu Abdullahi Kabori is Assembly Member for Lashibi Electoral Area in Accra.
Now, as African countries mark the 60th anniversary of the African Union AU, a civil society organization, Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism, is asking the leadership of AU to focus on safeguarding peace and security of member states. Some African countries like Sudan, Burkina Faso, and others have in recent times been plagued by pockets of violence. This development has led to the death of hundreds of people and disrupted economic activities. However, speaking to City News, the Executive Director for Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism, Emmanuel Kuting, says more must be done to achieve the purpose of the African Union.
We look at the conflict in Sudan, which just happened a couple of months ago. If you look at terrorism-related activities in the Sahel and the coup d'etats in many of the African countries, it is something the organization have not been able to live up to. And you know, security, when you have a failed state and the systems and institutions are not at play, it is the very citizen of the African continent that suffers. So if you look at the continent as it is riddled with poverty, and our call on this day is African leaders should have a reflection, do stakeholder engagement, and silence the guns. Because if you look at the loud noise of the guns in Africa, it's like breakfast we take every day. But breakfast is something we Africans didn't even have, given the level of poverty and the endemic corruption among the political elite.
Executive Director for Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism and security analyst Emmanuel Kuting.
Now, President Akufo-Addo says despite the numerous economic challenges, Ghana has not recorded food shortage like other West African countries. He attributes this to his government's policies such as Planting for Food and Jobs, which he says helped secure enough food for the country. Speaking at the 7th African Leadership Forum in Accra, Nana Akufo-Addo said government has managed the agricultural sector well.
The subsidies have to come from public resources, and that is this whole program we have called the Planting for Food and Jobs, where we have subsidized our smallholder farmers, because Ghanaian agriculture, like agriculture in many parts of the continent, is essentially smallholder farmers. We don't have huge plantations here, etc. Is to finance providing subsidies for the imports, seedlings, fertilizer. That has been the pattern of our government, and it has yielded some positive results. There are two ways about it. We have seen that even during this difficult time in the COVID thing, the supply of foodstuffs to the markets, the availability of foodstuffs in the Ghanaian market has not been an issue. It isn't as if in this period of difficulty we have also witnessed shortages of foods, etc. On the contrary, access to foods has been one of the more robust responses that our economy has had. And it's largely because the system that we had to put in place has been relatively successful. But clearly, there is a limit to how far we can go down that road of public subsidy for agriculture. And we need to look very, very seriously at how we can develop another financial ecosystem that will enable resources to be channeled into the financing of agribusiness.
That was President Akufo-Addo.
Now, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin is asking auditors to help fight corruption in Africa. According to him, auditors by training are expected to keep governments and organizations in check. Speaking at the opening of the African Federation of Internal Auditors in Accra, the Speaker said auditors must expose the rot in the system.
It is an affront to your profession and role as internal auditors to sit back and watch as national resources and public funds are plundered, misapplied, dissipated with reckless abundance. And this is what is happening. Please, internal auditors, you must be bold. You must speak out against malfeasance in various organizations and in governance. Speak truth to those who are in power, without fear or favor. That is one of the surest ways to minimize all the earlier cancerous things I've mentioned. Be not afraid at all. For those who threaten you, for those who kill others because they want the right thing to be done, they usually die in misery and agony.
Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin.
Now, newly nominated Chief Justice of Ghana, Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokono, will face the Appointment Committee of Parliament tomorrow for vetting. She was appointed by President Akufo-Addo last month. Her nomination, according to the President, was to avoid any vacuum that would occur following the retirement of the current Chief Justice Kwesi Enenyi-Abua on May 24. Justice Gertrude Tokono, who hails from Winneba in the Central Region, if approved, will become the third female justice in the history of Ghana after Justices Georgina Theodore Root and Sophia Ekufo.
We do more stories, and the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, has announced that some parts of the Greater Accra region are expected to experience a power outage today, Thursday, May 25, 2023. In the press statement, the company indicated that it is undertaking planned maintenance that's affecting power flow to some areas. The outage is expected to last from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The areas to be affected include ECG Quarters, Paradise Estate, Sweden Medical Center, Amanfrom, Asheye Reservoir, Adum Gate, Asheye Fulani, Tetegu, White Cross, Sampa Valley, and its adjoining communities.
Now, Justice Kwesi Enenyi-Abua has retired as Chief Justice of Ghana after attaining 70 years on May 24, which was yesterday. Now, Justice Enenyi-Abua's period as head of the judiciary saw the determination of some high-profile cases like the election petition, the decision on the approval of the e-levy, amongst others. Some persons who were not satisfied with the decisions have based on this to criticize Justice Enenyi-Abua. The following report by Citi News' Hansen Ajuman puts a spotlight on the tenure of the 14th Chief Justice of Ghana.
After 21 years of service as a judge, Justice Enenyi-Abua took a bow from the judiciary on May 24, 2023. Having operated as a legal practitioner since his call to the bar, he was appointed to the High Court in 2002. Prior to that, he was the Eastern Regional Chairman of the Ghana Bar Association. He was noted for his diligence, which is said to be the reason for his appointment. He was later appointed to the Court of Appeal in 2003, where he served for 5 years. He was appointed to the Supreme Court in 2008 by then-President John Agyekum Kufuor. Following the retirement of Justice Sophia Ekufo, he was appointed and approved as Chief Justice. His approval was followed by the 2020 election petition, which he presided over as President of the Apex Court. Unlike then Chief Justice Georgina Wood, who was not part of the panel of the 2012 election petition, Justice Enenyi-Abua chaired the 7-member panel. The panel decided unanimously against the NDC's John Mahama. This has since formed the basis for the appraisal of his role as a Chief Justice, with some questioning the basis of the judgments and the rulings against the NDC. Also, the court has delivered rulings such as the case on whether a deputy speaker can be counted for the purpose of forming quorum and vote while presiding as speaker. As head of the judiciary, Justice Enenyi-Abua was the chair of the General Legal Council, which is in charge of legal education in Ghana. Months before his assumption, access to legal education had been a matter of concern to observers of the legal system in Ghana, following the continuous failure of majority of students who sat for the entrance exams. There were calls for the current system to be reviewed to allow for schools who undertake the Bachelor of Laws program to run the professional program. Some have criticized him on his failure to make this possible. However, his tenure has recorded some increase in the number of enrollments to the Ghana School of Law compared to previous years. There has also been an increase in satellite campuses with the introduction of campuses at UPSA and GIMPA. The outgoing Chief Justice has been interested in promoting infrastructure development at the courts. He has in the past months commissioned court rooms and bungalows for judges in the Ashanti, Central and Greater Accra regions, a move he has been commended for. Justice Aninyabo is remembered for a public campaign against extortion by judicial service staff during his last days as Chief Justice. The judicial workers have adjudged him as the best Chief Justice as far as their welfare is concerned.
Citi News says Hansen Ajuman filed that report.
We're bringing more stories now. The Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, in collaboration with the Ghana Police Service, has arrested 49 Nigerians in Accra over suspicions of human trafficking and cyber fraud. The suspects were allegedly involved in human trafficking and cybercrime activities. According to the statement released by EOCO, 45 of the individuals were victims of human trafficking, whilst 4 were traffickers. The rescued victims have been repatriated to Nigeria. The arrest followed intelligence obtained by the office to the effect that some Nigerians had been trafficked into the country. The victims were lured into the country with the promise of securing jobs, but were subsequently forced to engage in cybercrime activities upon their arrival in the country.
And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra. The news was also live on all our partner stations across the country. In the Western region, we were live on Ajunpa FM 100.7 in Takra, Beach FM 105.5 in Takra, the Bono region, Guina FM 95.9 in Sunya, in Ashanti region, Ajunpa FM 99.9 in Nkari, Volta region, Heritage FM 107.3 in Hohoi, Freedom FM 88.1 in Sugakope, Northern region, Radio Gaki 88.3 in Saboba, Upper East, Quality FM 88.7 in Garu, and Northeast region, we were live on Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalerigu. Please log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, and I was here with
Kweku Ediamansa.
Netele Neti Ajaho is up next with the afternoon's edition of City Business News. Many thanks for doing the listening.